In the middle of 2026, Apple did something it had never done before. Without launching a single new product or hardware upgrade, the company abruptly raised prices across the board. A MacBook Air suddenly cost 18% more, and the iPad Pro jumped by 20%. The reason your laptop got more expensive traces back to a bidding war being fought over tiny memory chips thousands of miles away. Historically, manufacturers like Samsung and Micron sold these chips directly to consumer electronics companies. But when the AI boom hit, data centers started paying up to 10 times more for specialized high-bandwidth memory. Faced with that math, the chip manufacturers did exactly what capitalism demands. They shifted almost their entire production away from consumer goods and toward AI data centers. The result is a massive supply squeeze. As regular memory chips become scarce, their prices spike. Everyday consumers are now paying a hidden tax at the checkout counter just to fund a speculative corporate tech war. This chart shows the capital expenditure of the 4 biggest US tech companies. In 2020, Amazon, Meta, Google, and Microsoft spend a combined $90 billion on infrastructure. By 2026, that number skyrocketed to $725 billion. That is an 8-fold increase in just 6 years. And when this graphic shifts to show proportionality, we can see exactly how risky this spending is. Over the next 2 years, big tech capital expenditure will swallow up 94% of their total operating cash flow. That leaves just 6% for dividends, buybacks, salaries, and routine operations. This aggressive level of spending relies entirely on a single assumption: that in a few short years, the world will demand so much computing power that pouring nearly $1 trillion a year into infrastructure will actually be a bargain. The most profitable corporations on Earth are effectively betting their entire financial cushion on a premise that no one has actually proven will arrive. When you type a prompt into an AI, the thinking doesn't happen on your phone. It happens inside a building like this, a giant windowless industrial warehouse packed row after row with heavy metal racks. Each of those racks is filled with specialized processors, like this NVIDIA GPU. A single one of these chips can cost upwards of $30,000. When you pack 100,000 of them into a facility, power them, and cool them, a modern AI data center costs between $10 and $25 billion to build. In the financial world, money isn't free. If investors put billions into a high-risk physical asset like a data center, they demand a bare minimum return of 10% on their capital. This visualization breaks down the J.P. Morgan calculation for what that return requires. To justify the hundreds of billions currently being spent on AI infrastructure, the AI industry needs to bring in $650 billion in revenue every single year. The sheer physical cost of concrete, copper, and silicon has established a financial hurdle so incredibly high, the industry is struggling to clear it. This stacked bar chart shows what the AI industry actually earns today. If we take the most optimistic projections for OpenAI, Anthropic, and Gemini, their combined yearly revenue hovers around $75 billion. Meanwhile, they are collectively burning through tens of billions in operating losses. When we place what the industry actually makes next to the $650 billion it requires, this updated chart highlights a gaping $600 billion annual deficit. The entire big tech business model assumed that large enterprise corporations would eagerly buy expensive AI subscriptions to fill that gap. But the enterprise market is pushing back. Studies from MIT show a 95% failure rate in companies trying to achieve measurable financial returns from their AI integrations. Startups are realizing they are spending more on AI token queries than on their own payroll, prompting a mass migration to cheaper open-source alternatives. Alex Karp, the CEO of the enterprise software giant Palantir, recently admitted this out loud. He noted that every enterprise he deals with feels they are paying for tokens that create no value, adding that these models have been completely irresponsibly oversold. The core economic engine driving the AI industry is currently broken. For every single dollar these companies bring in, they are spending almost 10. We can understand how this plays out by looking at the economic concept of the capital cycle, which perfectly mirrors the 1996 internet telecom boom. Back then, everyone correctly recognized that the internet was the future. Assuming data demand would grow infinitely, companies poured over $500 billion into laying physical fiber optic cables across America. But the demand didn't grow fast enough to cover the massive debt, And soon, the internet did change the world, and that abandoned cable eventually became the backbone of modern streaming. The infrastructure survives, but the companies that blindly overbuilt it are destroyed. There is one major distinction today. The tech giants funding the AI boom, Google, Microsoft, Meta, are highly profitable businesses, unlike the debt-fueled telecom startups of the 90s. But math always catches up, leaving us with two realistic paths. Path 1 is that the bubble pops. The enterprise market refuses to pay. Big tech slams the brakes on infrastructure spending, tech stocks crash, and a wave of job losses hits the IT sector. Path 2 is that the companies refuse to let the bubble pop. To justify their trillion-dollar valuations and hit that 10% return, they will simply force the math to work by drastically raising the price of AI tokens. The cheap conversational tools we use today will transition into expensive luxury services strictly for large corporations. The data centers being built right now will be here for decades. But whether the market crashes or prices skyrocket, the era of infinite, cheap AI computation cannot survive the basic laws of economics.